Hello? Can you hear me? Hello there. Welcome to my broadcast. So I have three towns. First one is not so great, but I named it Sramytown. So Sramytown is my first town. The last time I visited this was about few weeks ago. I think I haven't touched it for a while. But this is my town, Sramytown. Sramytown is quite a problematic town. Oh, Sramytown is problematic. You can hear me, okay, good. Can you hear my music also? I'm playing Per now. Okay, Sramytown is a bit problematic because there's a lot of pollution. So you see, my industries are not really zoned properly. So you look at all these orange zones, that's actually the ground pollution. Population is 16,000 now. But population is not very accurate in this game, lah. It's when you look at the number of zoned areas, there's no way there's only 16,000 people here. But yeah, definitely you will see population problems here, but population is not an issue because when you look at it overall, there's no way there's only 16,000 living in this 9-tile town. However, my issue with this town is actually most of the pollution. It's not very clean industries. Oh yeah, let me go click on people. 1 second. So my industries are polluting the ground very badly, and it's causing my employees and my residents to fall sick. Therefore, the death rate is increasing very steeply. So I also had to build a cemetery to keep all of them dead people, but one of the cemeteries are full. This is my landfill, so in case the cemetery gets too full, then the dead bodies have to go into the landfill. So yeah, trains. I love trains. I love building trains. So basically, when you build a train line, this is how you do it. You build a train station first, and then later you just pull the line, and then this is your train tracks. So you have to sambung them to the existing train tracks which were already built by the government or whatever in the past. So these existing train tracks are the ones that actually bring the people from other towns or other countries to your city. If you don't have this train track, they wouldn't come to your city, and you wouldn't have import or export capability for your industries. So what I did is I created a cargo train station and a human train station. The human train station brings passengers or tourists from other cities. So when I look at this train station, I can see that we serviced only 8 people last week, And then when I look at a cargo train station, this one carries raw goods and materials, and it transports them. So it either imports or exports outside. But I also have a traffic problem in my trains because sometimes the industries overproduce because they are too efficient, and the trains get clogged up over here. So I have to provide them alternate routes, either with highways or with cargo hubs. But anyway, Sramytown is not my best work. I will move on to the next town. So I created. Let me just go on the last bit of Sramytown, which is the zoo. So I made like a little zoo nagara here. Built a little, what do you call it, fence, so the animals don't escape. It's located in a very Malawati-ish neighborhood with landed houses. So this is the main entrance of Zoo Nagara, or in this case, it's called Manor Wildlife Park. Once you enter the zoo, so let's start. Let's type. Let's become a little human and simulate entering a zoo. Okay. So she's a bit slow. So let's just drive. Okay, here we have the antelope enclosure. Where are they? There they are. So we have the little antelopes over there. We have some deer. Okay. And then this is my zoo mascot. Yeah, that's my zoo mascot. This, I forgot what this is. I think this is the bird. No, cannot be bird park. This is some kind of sanctuary. 1 second, let me see what this is. Insect, amphibian, and reptile house. Okay, this one is my zoo plaza where the guests come here to relax, have a drink. I think I have a zoo cafe also somewhere on the back here. No, I don't have a cafe. But anyway, Sramytown is quite bare bones. Even though it looks like a lot, it's nothing compared to my latest town. I'll show you the next one. Thank you for watching. So this town is my best work so far. Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama is a non-cheat town, so I didn't unlock milestones. I didn't unlimited money. I didn't put anything. So I did this entirely via the game's progression, which is one of the reasons I'm so proud of this town. Because you start with like I think 60,000 cash and like very little resources, but you have to kind of start generating income and increasing your tax and all that to make money. So with 60,000 cash, I started and I built this town. I created industry which gave me a bit of revenue. I zoned the industry which made the town less polluted. So in certain areas where there's a lot of oil reserves, so you can actually check out where the oil reserves are by going to info views and then going to natural resources. So this area has a lot of oil. This area has a lot of fertile land. All the green areas are where the forest land is. And then you have the purple areas, which is ore. So oil, ore, and what's the other one? Yeah, oil and ore are non-renewable resources. So if you build a industry over here, you over a few years they will start sucking up all of the natural resources, and then you will have problems like this. Not enough raw materials because these are non-renewables. But when it comes to renewable resources like farmy land. So in farmy land, it's actually fertile land. So if you build a industry over here, they produce less tax revenue because they are more uneducated industries, but they are renewable. So they don't deprecate like oil and ore and all that kind of things. So they can last much longer than oil. So I made farmy land, and this is for the this is kind of like the howdy of my town, but it's actually one of the longest surviving industries because of the renewable resource of fertile land. Okay, so you have farmy land over here. Let's see what else we can look at. So we can control traffic. This is the traffic views. So here I have some problem with traffic. But I'm really proud this time because of the sheer size of it. I have 71,000 people, but obviously this game doesn't do population very well. There's no way that 71,000 people are in this dense of an area. But if you look at it, if you really look at this town, it's beautiful. Look at that. Like this is my high density residential areas. So all of these are apartment complexes. So these are where the highly educated people live. The not so highly educated people, they tend to live in the suburbs. Not in the suburbs, sorry, in the countryside. So like here is my central park. Here is my, what industry is this? I forgot. This is okay. I haven't specialized the industry here, but this is kind of my like industrial zone lah. And then we have a commercial zone. So like all the shops, the malls, the hotels are here. This is my, they call it a city arch. So it welcomes people to the city. It draws in more tourists. This is my toll booths. I've set up toll booths at all the entrances of the city, so that the moment people exit the highways, they have to pay toll. And this also gives me a income revenue. Net toll booths, and then more toll booths. So this one I have a bit of a traffic problem here because I'm getting too many heavy vehicles and service vehicles passing through. But it's actually pretty nice. Like when you look at it, the nighttime views, especially with the lights, and this is my theme park kind of place. So what else do I have? Let's see. Okay, this is my suburbs. So let's go and really micro look into the place by just taking a drive. Oops. Hey, why did they give me this color? Oh shit. Okay. Never mind. Okay. So yeah, this is my suburbs, and this is the this is my kind of like a highway, but it's not a highway because it's actually linking all of the housing areas together. So they are very unpolluted housing areas, so nobody is really falling sick that much. But I did have a death spike a few years back. So how the time moves in this game is, you see on the bottom left hand corner, I'm in year 2045, and every 10 years or so, it will be a replacement of a new generation. So like you see all the skeleton and all that, these are people dying. So when people die, they are waiting for kind of the hearse to come and pick them up to bury them or to cremate their bodies. So I had a death spike, not because of anything, but because every time you create like residential areas, after 10 years and all that, they will have like a turnover rate. So people will start dying, and then there will be a new generation to replace them lah. So because people don't live in the same city their whole life, what? So they either abandon their buildings or they move to a new city. So you have to kind of make your town attractive enough so that they will actually stay there their whole lives lah. But most of the time you can't really help it because people have their own choices, they have their own careers and all that. So this is my career zone. This is kind of my Silicon Valley, not Silicon Valley, sorry, New York, Wall Street. So these are my IT hubs. So all of these are office buildings. Okay, Golden Triangle I call this. I call this area like, Bushwheat. I'll explain later. Okay, so Golden Triangle, I just named it Golden Triangle because it's a triangle, and also because of the inspiration from the KL CBD. So those people who are living in this area are pretty rich and also pretty well educated. So there's a university over here, there's a train station, there's office buildings. But I make sure to not put them too close to the office building so that there's no noise pollution. So you can check the noise pollution by going here. So, right. So all the red is the high noise pollution, and usually when you have residents, you don't want to keep them in areas where there's too much of red. So like all of these dots and all that, these are residential areas. You don't want to put them inside red, otherwise they'll complain. So the Golden Triangle, I kind of zoned it in a way where the residents will be in a small little circle, and then their workplace will be nearby, but not too close that they will feel it's too noisy. So now on the bottom left, you will see my cash and my income, which is 1.6 million. My income is 20,000 per week, 20,000 cash flow per week, to actually see how much I'm spending and how much I'm earning. This is the budget panel. Okay, I can take a loan if I don't have enough money, but so far I haven't needed to take loans. So on the right hand side, you will see income, expenses. So I'm earning 182,000 per week. I'm spending 162,000 per week. So as long as I'm breaking even, or as long as I'm making a good cash flow, then for me that's considered good lah, because you can at least sustain your town. This is how you adjust your budget for each of the services. So your bus, your train, your police department. So I've defunded my police a little bit, down to 85%. But if you defund them too much, there will be a high crime rate, so I don't want to do that. Let's see, fire department, health. Health includes hospitals, clinics, and also death care. So like all the dead people and all that also considers part of health. So if you want to increase the health of your population, you can build good healthcare centers, like non-medical stuff, but also kind of increasing their longevity of life. So when you go to things like, the normal stuff is cemetery and then crematorium lah. So this is when you actually die early. But if you want to prolong the health of your citizens, you can build a thing like a sports hall where they will actually go to exercise every day and all that. And then overall, in the long run, indirectly, it will increase their health, so they don't have to depend so much on the hospital. So let me build a sports hall over here. See all them smiling because they're very happy. So if you build something that is negative, like if you build some loud thing over here, like let me see, what can I build that's a bit ugly? Okay, so if I build something loud or dirty or smelly, like a landfill, then they'll be sad. See, they'll be angry with you. I know it is what it is. So let's go to what place was this? Bushwheat. Right, Bushwheat. Okay, Bushwheat, I named it Bushwheat because this is specializing in the forest industry. Forest industry is also a renewable resource. What they do is they do logging and all that kind of things, and basically trees lah. So I specialize in the forest industry because this is a heavily forested area of the map, and this is where all my logs and wood will come from lah. So the basic cycle of this game is you first have to create a demand for residential, a demand for industry, and a demand for commercial. So you'll see on the bottom right hand corner next to the temperature, you will see green, blue, and yellow. So green is residential, blue is commercial, and yellow is industrial. So when you zone population, when you make residents, they have to go to work because otherwise they won't make money. So they will either go to work in the blue areas or the orange areas, which is like you see if you zone now, you can actually see where the zones are. So these are or yellow areas. So yellow areas are industry. Industry is where the raw materials are created, which are then sold to commercial areas, which is blue areas. So all these blue areas are commercial areas. But if you zone too much of each, then they will either have too much raw materials produced, or they will have not enough customers, or the commercial areas will have kind of like what do you call it? Not enough goods to sell, because they either have a surplus or a what's the opposite of surplus? The negative of surplus lah. But basically, the poison symbol, where's poison symbol? You mean this one? This one all the dead people. So I think I'm having another death surge again. But it's okay. They will be replaced. So all of these black houses and all that, these are considered abandoned buildings. So I want to, yes, deficit. So they either have a surplus or deficit. So I'm going to demolish, bulldoze all my abandoned buildings. It helps to increase land value, because nobody likes to see abandoned buildings in their house. So like you see this area, right? If you bulldoze this abandoned building, the land value will increase, and people will want to move into that neighborhood. So like in a housing area especially, if you have too many abandoned buildings, the land value will drop. And to see land value, you go here. Okay, so blue and green is quite good, white is not so good. So I mean, industry doesn't really care about land value because they just go there to work and they go there to pollute. But people where they live, they really care about land value. So they will tend to abandon their houses or move to a different city if your land value drops. So they don't want a lot of abandoned buildings, they don't want a lot of noise and that kind of things. This area are very super highly educated, so think of this as like the I don't know, like Damansara Heights. Okay, so these people who are living in this neighborhood are all using like solar panels, and they are kind of self-sustaining. They call them self-sustaining households because they don't really need, they recycle all their garbage. They don't pollute so much. They are highly educated, and they all use renewable energy resources. So the city doesn't need to provide them with too much of what do you call it, services, because they are all self-sustaining. So you have these kind of people. But the downside of this is, because they are self-sustaining, and just like real life, the rich people, they don't pay much in taxes because they feel a bit more entitled, since they don't depend so much on the government, so they don't want to pay so much of taxes. But it's good because I don't have to provide them too many services. They kind of like manage themselves. Whereas in other neighborhoods, this is Farmville. Farmville is also one of my favorite places because it's a very clean area. They don't pollute, no smoke, no ground pollution, no water pollution, because it's just purely cows and it's like a kundasang over here. You see. Let me go ahead. I don't think I can pet it lah, but I should be able to. Wait. Cat I think got lah. I never really looked for it, but this is farm, so I don't think they have cats, but they got pigs lah. Yeah, they got pigs, they got cows. I haven't seen cats, but I think cats are on the streets. I not really looked at the streets that much, because you're mostly looking at it from a macro perspective. But I'm sure if you find, maybe there are some lah. Got pigs, got cows. Let's see what other animals they have. So Farmville is quite a nice place lah. They're very, like countryside, and they make their own grain from farm to plate kind of people lah. Look at my trains. One of my favorite things to do in this game is actually planning the public transport system, because the public transport helps with car traffic a lot. So you don't want to be like a Mahathir and nationalize a car and then have too many cars on the road. But there are some things which you cannot really control, like service vehicles and trucks and all that for the farms. So those kind of things. To minimize that, you have to build, like I said earlier, cargo train stations, so that too many trucks don't clog up your road. But also you can zone certain areas. You can so make policies. You can put policies in certain areas to kind of restrict heavy traffic. So these are all the policies. Policies are over here. So you have power usage. You can reduce your power usage but this one all comes at a cost lah. And distribute smoke detectors so that people's houses catch fire less often. Pet ban. So I don't want to do this, because this one, they do this, their happiness will be decreased because they cannot own pets, cats and dogs and all that. Smoking ban. Some places I put smoking ban so that they will live longer. Let's see where else. Free public transport is a big chunk of my income, so I'm not going to give them for free. The educational beams increase citizens' knowledge, and of course free Wi-Fi, sorting, that kind of thing. Taxation. So far I haven't provided tax relief, but I think I might soon for like the low density residential areas, especially for the middle lower income people. I might do that, and I might raise the taxes for those self-sustaining neighborhoods. But there's a high risk that they might leave, so I don't know. Heavy traffic ban. Okay, so this one is where you, in certain areas, like for example in Hamilton Hills, right? So Hamilton Hills is a very quiet, serene neighborhood. You don't want any heavy trucks passing by here. So you can do this by going to the district, selecting this district, and then putting a policy on this district. So it will be like heavy traffic ban. Okay, I already put a policy here. So by hook or by crook, if there is a heavy vehicle, let's say from this industry area, from Sterling Square, they want to pass through to get to this highway, the policy is that they cannot bypass Hamilton Hills, because Hamilton Hills needs to be kept quiet. So they will have to find an alternate route. They will either have to go through the highway, or they'll have to go through here, or they'll have to go through somewhere else. So that's how policies work lah. So these are like tourist attractions. This is the biodome. It increases tourist to your city when you build these kind of things. What else did I build that's quite attractive. So this one, it came with a map. It's an old abandoned mill, but it looks cool, so I decided to keep it. It also increases land value. My trains traffic are having a bit of problem because I think I have too much of cargo. It's a good thing because I know that my import and export industry is active, but we don't want the trains to be jammed up too much lah. So yeah, I'm having a bit of a traffic jam in my trains. I don't know how long they go for, but yeah. Okay, so this is my cargo hub. Also a traffic jam here. Because all of these donut shops and hot dog shops and all that, they need to get their either they have to export their raw materials or they are importing it. So they go into this cargo hub, they park their cars, they offload the things into the containers, and then this ship comes and picks up the containers and they send it to other countries or cities. So you can inspect the ship and you can see where they are going. Okay, so this owner is the Lake Deal, this one, transporting cargo to the cargo hub. But if you look at a different ship, maybe this ship over here, they are actually taking it away. Okay, there, transporting cargo to Lakefield, which is not my city. So they picked up the cargo from my city and they're moving it to a different city. So that's how business works lah. Over here. So this I don't know what was it. I think it was a farm. It burned down because the fire truck couldn't reach it in time, so I have to bulldoze it. And then someone new will come and take over the spot lah. So this house is abandoned, so you see the difference with abandoned houses. No, Lakefield is not other players, it's just in the game itself. Like this is offline. It's computerized, yeah. There is no online mode. It'd be cool if you can have an online mode lah. But this game is about 6 years old already, so I don't think they have a online community so much. But people are still playing it a lot and they're modding it a lot because it's a very good game to kill time lah. So I just spent like I think 6 hours playing it and without even realizing it, without falling asleep or without getting bored at all, because every time you think there is everything to be done, you will find something to do. Because all the problems come up, like all these deaths and then these kind of things and all that. It keeps you engaged lah. Instead of just building a town and letting it run, you wanna keep doing stuff even more. And even if there are no problems, let me show you my Genting Highlands space. Even if there are no problems, you want to increase your population. So now my population is 74,000, but when there are no problems, you'll be like, why not have more people? So my Genting Highlands town, let's see if I still have it here. I think it was Sramytown if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I believe it was Sramytown, I forgot where it is. I made a Genting Highlands somewhere here. Here it is. Okay, so I did everything from the whole cable car. Okay, and follow the cable car up, and then it goes up, and it goes up, and then here is Genting Highlands. So the game calls it Chirpy Land, but yeah, let's do a bit of hiking here. So this is my amusement park. This is my horror house. You can see I built it on top of a mountain, so it overlooks all of the city. So from here you can see like that's like Gombak, and then this is like I don't know, Rawang. So It's on top of a mountain and you need cable car to access it, or you can drive up this really long and winding road. But my cable car is doing quite well. And then here's my theme park lah. So I have a roller coaster over here, I have a plaza, I have a cafe, I have a haunted house. And if you keep walking, you will see another cafe, and you'll see this ride thingy. And then there's a go-kart, sorry, bumper car, and then merry-go-round, Ferris wheel. So I planned. I mean, this entire mountain from the tip of the mountain, from the base of the mountain all the way to the top, and then back to the other side of the base. It's actually two completely different districts, but they are linked by the Genting Highland Mountain. So like imagine Bentong and Gombak. Okay, so this is Gombak, and then this is Bentong, and they are separated by this one big banjaran here. So the way to get up here is by cable car, right? And if you're rugged enough, you can actually walk down. So I built a path for hikers. Let me just drive lah. So I built a path that actually brings you all the way down via hiking. You follow the road down, and then you come back to Bentong. But the Sramytown is not doing so well lah. You see, my cash flow is negative 30,000, but I'm also enabling cheats, so I don't really care about that. So I have unlimited money. This is my latest town, Crockpot. It's a very challenging town to build because there's very little land area. It's just a bunch of islands. So there's so many islands over here. You have to kind of link all the islands and make a livable industry to work with. So this is the one I was doing today lah. Most of these tiny little islands, they're very nice, but realistically they won't be able to survive too much because they don't have many land, and when they have a bit of land, when they do have like people living there and all that, they will be complaining there's not enough services and whatnot. So you will have to put police station, you'll have to put fire station, garbage truck, everything on this little small island. So I decided not to build anything on these tiny islands, but like bigger islands and all this, like there's one like the size of Langkawi like that. Okay, like this one is big enough to actually create a livable community. So most of my civilization lives here, and then if they want to go for a beach day, they can just hop over to this island here. So these are tiny little archipelagos. I also linked my islands by ferry. So despite the people living all the way over here, these are completely residential areas. So there are no commercial and no industrial areas here. So how do these people make money, you may wonder? They take the ferry. And they go, these are the ferries. They go and they work here. So the ferry stops here, and these are all the malls, the commercial areas, the offices, and the forest industry. So I build this thing like a little circle, my roads, so there's not too many traffic jams. I learned from my previous mistakes in Dalai Lama to make roads built like this, like roundabout style fashion. When you make roundabout kind of roads, the traffic is not so bad. And the service vehicles know how to find their way. Okay, so my traffic flow is pretty good on this island. My traffic flow is about 83%, which is very decent compared to my 60 something percent on the other islands, on the other works. So roundabouts are one way to reduce your traffic lah. Okay, so this is Langkawi. And these are little tiny islands like the Dayang Gunting Island, all that kind of thing. So they can go island hopping. I was thinking of making cable cars, but cable cars doesn't really, like, you need electricity, you need water and all for cable cars. So in order to do that, I would have to put underground pipes. So this is how water works in this game. You first build a water pumping station. This is a water pumping station. Or if you want, you can also build a water tower like this, which extracts groundwater. And then after that, you have to pipe the areas. So you have to pipe them to all the houses and all that kind of stuff. So once they reach all the roads, that's good enough for them to have water. And electricity, how electricity works is you build a power plant. So it's when you start, it's either a solar power plant or a coal power plant. So I decided to put nuclear because I was using cheats for this one. I built a nuclear power plant which supplies a lot of high energy power to the whole city. And then you also kind of have to build these power lines to supply energy to everybody. So like all this, this tenaga thing. What you said? Why don't you build a city in the center? What do you mean by that? So this is my city lah, kind of my city lah. Yeah, because this is the biggest island. So typically in this kind of island countries, all their city center is in the biggest island now. And then the tiny islands is where people actually live. So like one example is probably like Trinidad and Tobago. So Trinidad is the biggest island, and then Tobago is where all these people live, near the ocean. This is the ocean already. Only populated. Oh, you mean like coastal community? Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I can do that. That means that I remove all the roads from this central area and all that. Then make like a coastal community. Then it'd be completely jungle.